Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Six Wings King Show. This is what this called the mega super juggernaut show here that we have. Obviously, we got some really big news coming up for you guys that I'm sure everybody is well aware of at this point. So, I want to welcome very special guests. Everybody here is obviously a very special guest, but of course, I want to start off with the top row here, Mr. Alex Dono. Is gracing us with his presence today. The legend here, Alex Dono. What's going on, Dono? How are you, buddy?
I'm really happy and I'm really relieved because we've had weeks of speculation and so many reports coming from all sorts of different directions on who was coming in or who wasn't coming out. So I mean, I think Miami hit a home run here today, and I'm also just glad that we can actually talk about what really happened rather than what might happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then right underneath me is Mr. A Black, one half of the Storm Warning crew. What's going on, A Black? How you doing, man?
What's going on, brother? How y'all doing this evening, man? A pleasure to have me on, to be on the show, and talk about a guy that we all been waiting to get home for 3 years, baby. It's
Yes,
on.
yes, sir, yes, sir. And to his, I guess it would be to his left, to my right, is the I don't know what can I call you, Max? My boy, Max, my brother, Max. What's
Didn't
up,
you give
Max?
me a
That's
name
on.
this weekend?
What? Yeah, what did I call you? I don't even remember now.
I don't know, like the chosen one or something like that.
Oh, sure, we'll go with that. The chosen
No,
one,
I'm just
Max.
playing.
What's going on, Max? How are you, brother?
I'm good, man. I just got home here. Had to drop off the Kia to get to get it detailed. I'm just hanging out.
All right, all right. Vish, what's going on, my man? My co-host, my compadre, my comunicado oficial. What's
Yeah,
up,
no,
man?
it's been finally it happened. I'm just excited to talk about this. We got a lot of people coming on. We're gonna be rolling them through and just getting everyone's opinion on. I
Oh
think what
yeah.
we can all agree is a great day for our program.
We'll definitely talk about everybody we got going on, but coming on the show. But before we do that, by the way, we did have our another special guest who is not on the screen is our producer Manny Chang, who came back for this one because he knows what's up. He knows that this is the right one to produce here. So I want to give him a big ups, Manny Chang, behind in the background. But speaking of sponsors, speaking of taking your Kia into the shop. We actually have a very special sponsor for tonight's show. As you can see there, everything trade shows. So the trade shows are back, which is awesome. Actually, I love that everybody can kind of go out and do some things and be outside and no more COVID restrictions with that. So, but here's just a little information on everything trade shows. Does your company go to trade shows? Do you need a trade show exhibit, but you need help to get it going again? Maybe your marketing team isn't fully back yet. You need a one-stop shop, right? You need everythingtradeshows.com. Everything Trade Shows will handle the logistics, booth, graphics, furniture, flooring, and even some tips so you get noticed. They will teach you the difference between renting versus buying. Here's the great news. They're based right here in Fort Lauderdale off Las Olas. But they can service all 50 states. So that's pretty awesome there. Make sure you guys schedule a free consultation. Plus, mention 5 reasons and you get a free booth rendering as well. Here's the contact information. Phone number is 954-791-8882. Again, 954-791-8882. That's everythingtradeshows.com. So check them out. If anybody has a business that's watching the show right now and you guys need a booth, they are the ones to contact, man. So thanks a lot to Everything Trade Shows for the sponsorship. And let's go ahead and let's get right. Oh, look at this. Holy shit. We got a packed house. We didn't know he was going to come on, but he's gracing
Please
us
don't
with
yell
his
at me
presence.
this time.
The man, Larry Bluestein. What's going on, Blue? How are you, buddy? Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. I know you just had a show, so you're muted, by the way, but
I think he and I have the same
I'm
polo,
fine
by the
now.
way.
I'm fine now. What did you say?
are you
I think we have the same polo. We came
No.
matching.
No, it was close, but it's not.
Oh,
This has something else on it. But I have one of those. That was from the pregame show they gave us.
exactly.
so
Fish,
obviously-
I wouldn't yell at you, brother.
I'm just messing with you. Got a little not even heated. Blue's the only person that stood up for Manny on our entire podcast, so there was some contradictions there, but
yeah, well, yeah, it's all right, man.
Oh, well,
you can drive.
he's gone, so let's move on.
There you go. There you go. We'll kind of get it started real quick. Obviously, the big news, right? Mario Cristobal is finally back home, baby, as the which is a beautiful number too, the number 26 head coach for the Miami Hurricanes. I definitely want to get everybody's take here on Cristobal coming back and being the head coach of Miami. What does it kind of mean to you? How do you guys feel about it? And as far as what you think is regarding staff and where do we kind of go from here? Where do you kind of see Mario's next step being once he gets in? We'll kind of start. I would definitely want to start off with some of our guests. Let's start off with Dono here on that. Dono, and just kind of give me your take on the whole situation with Mario Cristobal returning to Miami.
I mean, I think everybody can figure that the pull towards home, the pull towards being closer to his mother, being closer to family, I think is a big part of this. But I think the even bigger part of this that I hope people are recognizing, and I know people who follow the University of Miami recognize this, that this move, it just shows the ambition and the change of philosophy from the University of Miami, from the president's office, to the rest of the administration, to the boosters, to the trustees, that they actually wanted to be aggressive and that they realized we can no longer survive and thrive in modern day college football if we try to do everything at a discount. Like they realized that, hey, if we see, what programs like Alabama and Clemson in recent years and Ohio State have been doing, that we can't expect to be in that college football playoff dance if we're not spending and being aggressive like them. So now, you hear about Cristobal, the reported figures at $8.5 million per season on a 10-year deal. And they want to also open up the budget for big-time assistant coaches as well. I mean, this is massive. And, I'm sure like all of you guys, I've been a University of Miami football fan for my entire life. I watched championships being won in the 80s and 90s and 2001. And I've seen the way that, I've seen the decline of the program over the last 15 years or so. I've been waiting for almost 2 decades for them to show ambition like this. So I think that that's massive for the program. And, something that I know about Cristobal is he's going to hit the ground running in the recruiting trail, right? I mean, when he worked for Nick Saban refers to this man as the best recruiter in the country. Saban entrusted Cristobal to run his recruiting office. So that's the ultimate compliment you can get. And I know he's not going to waste a second. I don't think he's going to waste a second putting a staff together either. I think he's going to bring over at least a couple from Oregon, including Alex Mirabel. And then, I know that a name, I don't want to put too much stock into this yet, but if you're talking about maybe making home run hires for his staff, I did see the Tim Reynolds tweet from earlier today that, a certain now free agent, potential offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, who we all remember the magic that he did a couple of years ago at LSU, that there at least is a little bit of mutual, if not more than a little bit, mutual interest between Brady and the University of Miami. He's going to have dozens of suitors. So, I don't know how much it's really going to take for Miami to make this happen, because he's going to have his pick on a number of different jobs. But I mean, could you guys imagine even the possibility, remote as it might be, of Joe Brady working with Tyler Van Dyke? I mean, that's going to be frightening for the rest of the ACC if Miami can pull off something like that. So now that Cristobal is in, I can start to dream a little bit on what the staff might look like. But no, I think it's huge. I think it's massive. And I think it's great how everybody's talking about the U again, right? And people they're reaching for these ridiculous narratives like, oh, all that hospital money, it was blood money from the pandemic, and they're spending it on coaches and yada, 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 and all this stuff. Oh, how terribly they've treated Manny Diaz. Listen, every time I start to kind of feel bad for Manny Diaz, I remember 4th and 14, and I don't feel as bad, right? Not to mention, the irony of, and I don't want to turn this into a Rip Manny session, so I apologize, because he's been very classy here. But let's also, not forget that time he was the Temple coach for 2.5 weeks, and he walked out on that.
Exactly.
It's a cruel business, man. I mean, college football, it is a cutthroat business. So I'm very happy today, Jazz.
Hey, we're going to go to A Black on this also. He mentioned, I think we all kind of are excited about the Mario Cristobal hire here. But I definitely want to get your take, A Black, on, the situation that's, that they're talking about now with Joe Brady, obviously that report with Tim Reynolds. How do you feel about Joe Brady? The significance of bringing someone like that on the staff, some may say, hey, well, he did it 1 year with with Joe Burrow and that whole entire team, right? So I
Right.
don't know, what else they can he can really hang his hat on, but maybe you can kind of shed some light on that. How do you feel about Joe Brady, or maybe other possibilities as part of his staff?
As far as Joe Brady, I mean, hey, I'll hang my hat on that too. That's all I had to hang my hat on. I had Joe Burrow, first overall pick. I had Carlos Soler. I had Jamar Chase, who sat out last year. It was the first rounder this year that coach that was in my system to win a national title. Look what the offense did the year prior, and then what it did with me. Oh, I'm gonna hang my hat on that all day long, and I'm going to use it to get paid. Right? I'm going to use that to get paid. I'm going to say, look at the players that I coach. Look what they're doing in the league right now. Look what they did prior to me getting there. Not to mention, I had a 1,200-yard rusher that's arguably one of the key components for the Kansas City Chiefs offense too. So you put him here in Miami with the talent that we have on the outside and in the backfield, the tight ends and the quarterback that's proven already. He's the ACC Rookie of the Year. He's proven that he could sling that thing. So you put Joe Brady here, I think the sky's the limit for offense. I don't think an offense misses a beat. I think it may take a step, go take a notch up, average 40 plus points a game. So for those that say Joe Brady did it 1 year, well, hey, look, we would love to have that 1 year here, right? We would love to have that here. That ends in a national championship. So at this point, and another guy, because you talked about developing quarterback, another guy, this is kind of Max guy, so I'm gonna let Max really dive deep into it. But a guy that can develop quarterbacks is Ken Dorsey. He developed Cam Newton into an MVP, and look what he did with Josh Allen. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm gonna let Max get into the Ken Dorsey because that's his guy. I ain't gonna steal his thunder because I know he wanna let the folks know why Ken Dorsey would be a good choice here. But Joe Brady would be lights out, man. That'd be a home run hire, slam dunk. He's a certified goon. And if you look at what he did his first season, his first year for the Carolina Panthers, that offense was humming. Now this year, uncertainty, no playmakers, Cam coming late, Sam Darnold, not that great. So, somebody got to be the patsy, right? So we're going to let him be the patsy. We get somebody else in here. And when the offense doesn't do any better, then it's like, well, really, was he really to blame? Or was it the pieces that we got on this team? So I'll be ecstatic with Joe Brady, just like I was ecstatic with the guy coming home. The guy.
Yeah, baby. So look, Max, he brings up. I definitely want you to speak on Ken, but I want to get your take on Cristobal as well and how you feel. Listen, I know we've been talking about this ad nauseum for how long now, right? And we've kind of had some ideas and we've kind of had some thoughts and we've been excited for a little bit, right? And obviously, how I've driven you crazy. I've driven everybody crazy on this, just trying to get the word and trying to make sure that this doesn't become into another Miami situation. So talk to me a little bit about how you feel about the hiring, the timing of everything, and of course, kind of get into Ken Dorsey, right? Because a lot of people are going to talk about, well, he's never called plays before, and he's a pro guy that's coming in. He's developed quarterbacks, yeah, but what kind of system is he going to run? Things like that. If he were to come in and be the OC here.
Yeah, well, first off, we don't call him what you call him. A Black messed up. We call him TOC, as you know, Jazz.
The other Cuban.
The
That's
other
right.
Cuban, the one that actually speaks Spanish. But I'm extremely excited. Like, I told myself today that I was just gonna shut my phone off during work because I would just be checking it all day, and I didn't do it. Fortunately, it happened super early in the day, so I wasn't. I'm out here on the West Coast, so it happened real early. They had that team meeting at 7:45. I didn't start work till 8, so I basically knew the second my day started. So I was just super excited. We kind of talked this thing into existence, and I couldn't be more happy for the program and for the players, really, because I think it's really going to help them out. As far as the OC thing, we're talking about Joe Brady, right? He didn't call plays at LSU. He was the passing game coordinator when he was there. So he made the jump to the NFL. His offense was great his first year in Carolina. This year, he had a change at quarterback, which is a big deal. And Christian McCaffrey's been on the sideline the whole damn year, their best player. So is it really his fault? I don't know, right? So then going on to Ken Dorsey, yeah, he's never called plays, but guess what he is? The passing game coordinator. Exactly what Joe Brady was, but he's doing it at the next level, the highest level you can get to. And Cam Newton could barely throw the ball when he got there. And neither could Josh Allen. Josh Allen has the strongest arm I've ever seen, but he couldn't hit a target when he came out of Wyoming. And now he's an MVP caliber quarterback in the NFL. And Dorsey's learning behind Brian Daboll, who was the offensive coordinator for Alabama, and is now interviewed for multiple head coaching spots, including the Chargers here in SoCal, for that head coaching job. And they have tabbed Ken Dorsey as the replacement OC in Buffalo. So if he were to leave to be an OC and people, oh, he's never been an OC. Well, then why do they want to promote him to OC? Why did they give him the title of passing game coordinator? And another thing about Joe Brady, he had 5 NFL head coaching interviews after 1 season as an offensive coordinator in the NFL. 5. So I would be totally okay with both of them. Those are both home run hires, in my opinion. A-Black and I had this conversation earlier. He asked me which I would prefer. I need to watch some more Carolina Panthers tape to see how he was calling plays. But I would give the slight edge right now to Dorsey just because he has a relationship with the head coach already. And he's a proven quarterback developer. And if he can develop TVD, he's going to be a top 5 pick in this next draft.
Yeah, he may not be here for long if Ken Dorsey does that, which is fine, right? Like that's what you want. You want to be able to do those kind of things. You want to be like how Alabama is, that they change offensive coordinators every 2 years and they don't skip a beat. So, Larry, I want to kind of get to you right before I even get to Vish because I really want to get to you because
get to Vish first, just in case I say something that he don't like.
Well, this way, if I hear you first, I know what not to say to set you off. So you should definitely go first.
Oh, man.
So Blue,
that's kind of an inside joke that nobody in here knows except us. So.
Yeah.
I blew up at Vish last week, but that's all right.
I think some of them got to see it a little bit, so that's fine. That's fine. No hard feelings there, man. It was awesome. I actually loved it. So look, you were really passionate about the whole Manny Diaz situation last week, right? And I get it, and I totally understand it. And of course, Vish had, we all kind of had our differences on that. But I kind of want to get your take on now that Manny is gone. A couple things, right? I think importantly is how you felt about the whole Manny Diaz situation, because I think that if there's anybody that can kind of speak to it passionately about it, it's you. And how you feel about bringing in Mario Cristobal, how you think everything went down, because I think that maybe at some point, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe you didn't see it going that way, right? You kind of saw them retaining Manny, and you kind of gave your case for why they could or they should if things don't fall through with Mario. So give me kind of like your insight on what you feel regarding the whole Manny Diaz situation, and then kind of us moving into Cristobal now.
But okay, that was all. Remember, that was all predicated on Mario not coming, and I just
right.
I really felt he wasn't. I mean, I looked at everything. I read all those. I have a friend who writes in Portland, and he was telling me all the positives. And when somebody said something about Cristobal's wife, he sent me the page of how many darn things that she was a part of, and she was in the middle of getting winter coats together for a low. So I figured it really wasn't her not liking. It was more, I think, his in the end was his mom, and he'd probably be kicking himself in the butt if he wasn't around, and and then he didn't see her. So I think that was important. But I just thought that and I know that the fan base didn't like Manny, and that's fine. I mean, I understand, but I kind of saw what was going on behind the scenes, and he wasn't a guy that if you told him to do something that he ignored you. Every single thing he did from day one, change out the offensive coaching staff, change off the defensive coaching staff. And then the only thing that I say is when COVID came, that was his undoing, because, it just put him way behind. And, but he's gone. I just felt that, that Miami kind of, kicked his ass out the door, didn't, didn't really care. I mean, he had a winning record. There's a lot of coaches that have losing records that don't, get treated like he did. But personally, I mean, he's okay. I mean, but his X's and O's aren't the greatest. I just think that he made a mistake. I've told Alex this millions of times. He should have never been defensive coordinator. That was his undoing. And he should have been smart enough to know that you don't have a damn grasp of one thing. Why are you taking on something else? So that was his undoing. His communication sometimes with people sucked. Let's move on to the most important part. I've known Mario since he was 14, since he was a freshman at Columbus, and he and Lewis. I've known Lewis, his brother, a long time. And the one thing about him is he's always been a prideful guy who's smart and is a learner. He never jumped. Listen, anybody could put it up with Nick Saban's crap for as long as he did and bite his tongue. I always used to say him. I used to send him texts. Like when Nick was on his warpath, I said, you must be biting your tongue so hard. You must be bleeding to death inside because, that's what he did. He paid his dues to the point where he got a chance to call the shots, got put in a really good situation in Oregon. Obviously he reached probably the ceiling of what you were going to do there. And he saw that getting to the playoffs, and I'm sure this was always in the back of his mind, the ACC right now is just an average conference. Really, unless somebody has two sterling recruiting classes like Clemson, then it's up for grabs. I'm sorry. It's up for grabs for everybody. I mean, if Wake Forest and Pittsburgh are playing in the damn, championship game, something's kind of, got to bend somewhere. But what he lends here, and you guys mentioned, I think Max mentioned and earlier, about recruiting. I mean, this is a guy who is a built-in recruiter. I mean, I always said to him, because I went to UNLV, and I always said, boy, I'd love to get him at UNLV. He could charm the pants off a Mexican mom. I mean, I'm telling you, with his suave and the way he is, and football-wise, he's just great. And that's the way he is. He's a genuine guy. He's a very vibrant, very, he's a detail guy. But he's not a guy who thinks he could do it all. There's a lot of head coaches, that think that they could do it all. He delegates as well as anybody. He surrounds himself with a lot of people. Look at Arroyo's, the UNLV coach now. He was there. They had quite a few people that worked under him. He started his own little tree, and he's only been around quite, a short little time. So it shows you he's got good judgment on who to hire. I think over the next 2 years, you'll see that. And I think for once that these athletes that Miami has, the Leonard Taylors, the James Williams, and the perfect example of past guys like Chantrell Henderson, who came here as the number one pick, didn't do crap, was lights out in the NFL. Same thing with Sam Shields. He was a terrible freaking wide receiver here, but he was an NFL cornerback. So you see, we got to coach these kids up, and I think this is where it begins. I think that Manny Diaz and his staff did a certain amount. But I think these guys, I think that Mario Cristobal knows what it is. When you spend so much time around a great coach like Nick Saban and people in Oregon and watched all that thing, I think it kind of rubs off, and it has. And I think they I never thought he would come back for a lot of reasons, but I can understand now why he's here. And I think that Miami zooms to the top recruiting-wise, because I think he knows a lot of kids that are in the portal now. He knows a lot of kids that he's been recruiting from Oregon, California, out west, Texas, a couple of other guys that swear by him and what he does. So Miami may land those guys. And not a lot of people said anything about Wesley Bassett, who is crazy. Just, he's not getting he should have gotten huge headlines because that kid's a big time difference maker. And for him to just slide in and, oh yeah, by the way, he committed to Miami. I mean, it kind of wasn't fair, but he's going to be definitely one of the jewels of this class. And that's it. I just think that Miami's very fortunate. They hit a home run with him, and hopefully with his athletic director, if indeed he lands in Miami, I think he knows enough about every sport. Okay, so he's going to help fundraise for every sport, so everybody's not suckling off the football. And I think that's the mark of a really good athletic director. Thank you for letting me say what I said.
Yeah, man, of course, absolutely. We're gonna get some parting shots because I know Dono has to go off to his next show as well, and then we'll wrap it up also with A Black and Max and everybody. But Dono, I mean, look, we're all excited about this hire. As you can see, we've talked about some OC candidates and some other candidates. What do you want to see from Mario? And you kind of mentioned this a little bit when you first got started. What do you want to see Mario do the minute that he kind of comes in, talks to all the players down here, which I think is going to happen tomorrow morning anyways at about 8 a.m. I think there's a meeting scheduled with the players. But what do you want to see coming out of Mario, like right away when he hits the ground running? What do you want to see? What's like the most important thing for him to kind of get going?
Well, I mean, I've seen Mario speak enough through the years that I know he's going to really nail it in his introductory presser tomorrow around 10 a.m. I think it's scheduled for. And you mentioned it. You took the words right out of my mouth. When he has the meeting tomorrow morning with the current players, that's really important because people are talking about, of course, Manny Diaz, who lost a job today, his staff members also, who unfortunately lost their jobs today. And I'm sure a lot of these players, who have been showing their support to Diaz on social media since the Duke game, they're upset, and I think it's going to be fine. I think that they're going to quickly realize we've got a heck of a new head coach in here, and this guy he's gonna help us win now and help us win at the next level for those who end up playing in the NFL. So they're gonna end up being fine with it. But that first meeting that he has with these players, it's going to be really important because I know that there are some sour grapes and some bad feelings. A lot of them are upset that Diaz got let go. So it's going to be, the meeting he has with his current players tomorrow will be as important as any of the meetings he has with recruits in the coming week. So I think that's a big one. He's got to nail that tomorrow. And, we'll never know exactly how that goes or what's said. I'm sure we'll hear some reports and leaks about it. So I'm looking forward to hearing any info we can get about how that goes. Oh, you're muted.
Yep, Donald. Let everybody know where they can catch you every day, man.
Thanks so much, man. Yeah, right here on this channel, 5 Reasons YouTube. I think I'm going to be on at an odd time tomorrow, and I'm sure Vish can relate to this. I want to watch the Real Madrid Inter game first because usually I go on right at 3. I'm going to go on at about 5 tomorrow, but on a normal day. Yeah, there you go. Dono Daily, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. right here on 5 Reasons YouTube will come to you from about 5 to 6 p.m. tomorrow because I am as passionate about Inter as I am about the Canes, so I have to watch that game at 3 tomorrow.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. Vish has a day job, so he will not admit to watching that game at 3 o'clock tomorrow. I will be working.
So in other words, a la Madrid. See you later, Dono.
See ya.
Exactly.
Vish, real quick before we get we get to A Black and Max, kind of your take, and then we'll kind of go in a little bit. I know we got some questions on the chat as well that we'll get to also, but I think that he mentioned something about recruits and players coming in and players wanting to leave, and then even some guys that are flipping, and obviously I want to get to that with Max and A Black and Larry, but kind of your take on everything. I know we talk all the time, but and you definitely got a voice out there on Twitter with regards to how you feel about about everything that's gone down. Kind of give us your take on what you feel.
Yeah, I'll actually punt on the recruiting question because we got Max and A Black and then Flo's coming on. So let's not me waste time and you got Blue here too. I'll just touch briefly on the offense coordinator stuff. For Joe Brady, I wonder if he wants to take some time off. He just got fired. You really think he wants to hit the trail this week or whatever? I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a little bit of a break here. I don't think he was planning on getting fired this week. So now you got colleges like was mentioned, every college is gonna go after this guy based on what he did at LSU. But I'm wondering if he just takes a breath and is like, wait, I don't want to do this yet. That's the one thing on that. The other name that didn't come up that also has Miami ties, which I know was asked in the chat, and we'll probably get to it later in terms of why do we keep going after Miami guys. But Rod Chudzinski, who was our offensive coordinator last time we were good, is close to Mario. They have a good relationship. He's not really doing much. He's like an analyst for Boston College. He's been an NFL offense coordinator, NFL head coach. A lot of great experience to bring in. I wouldn't be surprised if Mario tries to do something with him, even if it's not a formal coordinator position, because maybe he just doesn't want to do that stuff anymore. Maybe he doesn't want to go recruit and do all that, but maybe as an analyst. Because if he's doing it at BC, I don't see why he wouldn't do it at Miami. So that's another name I'll throw out there. But again, I want to give the floor back to our guests because I know they have to leave. We're going to get Flo in here and stuff, so I will be.
Yeah, so let's kind of go into it real quick, A Black. As far as like, we were talking about this before we even got going. We just mentioned Justin. It looks like Justin Flo may be hitting the transfer portal. We got some other guys that have decommitted. Yeah, bring them in, of course.
Yeah, really.
But Cam Williams, right? Cameron Williams is another guy that we've spoken about a lot. And see, even some of the guys that are on the team now, right? Talk to me a little bit about what you want to see Mario kind of do with regards to the transfer portal. Any names out there that you, aside from obviously the ones that I just mentioned, but if there's any names out there that you can kind of see Miami go hard after, or even the kids kind of know, hey, this is where I want to go now. Flip the script, right? Now I'm going over there.
Well, you named one, Justin Flo, but I like the 5-star DB from LSU. I forget his name, Max. What's his name, Max? The DB from LSU.
Oh, Elias Ricks.
Oh, Elias
Yeah,
Ricks.
Elias Ricks. I would like to see us go after him. Max already bet me, told me he's gonna go to Ohio State. So hey, but him, the decommits. I would like to see Cam Williams from Texas, the big offensive lineman that was committed to Oregon, that decommitted. I would love to see Mario go after him and bring him in. As far as just targeting guys in the transfer portal, my thing is just target some get some pass rushers in here, get some linebackers, because the linebacker room is it's not Miami caliber. Just let's say that. I'm not gonna call it weak. I'm just gonna say it's not Miami standard, right? Let's get some pass rushers in here, and also try to get a veteran corner. Get a veteran corner that we know can play one side of the field. We could put him on the opposite team's best receiver, and let's go to work. Like a Sauce Gardner. Someone like that. But I'm really not concerned too much because we got Mario, dude. Like that guy resume, he's certified. He's a certified goon. It's like he's stamped. He's certified beef, right? He's wherever he goes, he brings in killers. He brings in dogs. From when he was at Oregon, he went to Arizona and got the top 2 linemen out of the state of Arizona. When he was in Alabama, he had the top recruiting class. I mean, I'm not really concerned about him on the recruiting trail. That's not.
Even when he was at Rutgers, he pulled some guys.
Yes. I like that because that means he got some Northeast ties.
Yeah.
Come up here to the Washington, D.C. area, get some of these goons up here. Right. But I'm not really worried about the recruiting aspect, you know what I'm saying? And about his coaching staff. Because I think Mario knows he has to hit it. He has to hit a home run with these hires. And I think he's driven. I think he wants to win. I think he wants to get Miami back to where it should be. And for all the news people and the analysts that said he only chose Miami because the situation with his mom, I mean, yeah, I'll take that. Long as he's here and we win and they're going to eat crow. It's going to be a lot of crow eating. There's going to be a lot of crow eating, a lot of sad song singing and flower bringing when Miami Hurricanes come a-ringing, baby.
So, A-Black, check this. Man, I don't know why I don't have A-Black on the show more often, man. Jesus.
Because he's always on mine.
Yeah, that's true. True story, right? True story. Before we let you go real quick, just give me who you want, right? Like, let's put it not who you want, who you think. We already know Maribel is coming, right? He's going to be that's his right-hand man. But give me your top 2 candidates for offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator on this team.
Oh, man.
And then let them know where they can find you after that.
Well, I would like T-Rob to stay. I'll say that. I definitely.
I agree.
I definitely would like T-Rob to stay. Max is kind of warming me up to Dan Lenning, the Georgia DC. He's warming me up to him, even though I know he's a 3-4, but he's kind of multiple. So, and Max said something to me that made sense today. The pitch to him would be, I'm kind of stealing your stuff, Max. But hey, Max kind of told me today the pitch to him would be like, yo, you could come here and you can have total control over the defense. We don't know if he has that in Georgia because of Kirby Smart. It'd be your defense. You run it how you want to run it. You know what I'm saying? So I think he would be good. I definitely want T-Rob, the OC. I'm gonna go ahead and I would love for Ken Dorsey to be the OC. I'm just gonna put that out there. But if not, whoever Mario chooses, I'm cool with. But since you asked me, I'm gonna say Ken Dorsey, Lennon, keep T-Rob, because I think with T-Rob and Lennon, the defensive scheme will cater to what T-Rob is good at, and that's bump and run, man-to-man coverage. Not cover 4, cover 3, cover whatever, and 4th and 14 and stuff like that, like zone coverage all the time. No. T-Rob is in your face, bump and run. You got to beat me off the line of scrimmage. We're not giving you anything. And I think that's what T-Rob is. So that's my take. That's who I want. But ultimately, I'll be happy with whoever the TOC chooses.
TOC, baby. Tell them where they can find you, A-Black.
Oh, you can find me right there, Instagram at stormwarning.ablack, and you can find me on Twitter at ablack2. I'll be shooting tomorrow with my co-host Groove tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon around 3 o'clock. We're gonna shoot early. We normally shoot on Thursday, but we're gonna shoot tomorrow around 3 o'clock. You never know. Max may ask me to, give a guest appearance. You know what I'm saying? Drop a hot 16 on this show. I've been doing them for free, but I'm gonna start charging them a band.
Pay up, Max.
Mario said he's paying.
I'll see you later, A-Black. Appreciate it, man.
All right, no problem,
Thanks,
fellas.
man.
Hey, enjoy the night. Hey, Max, I'll get up with you.
Yep.
I guess you can bring on the next two guests, even though we're gonna close things out here with Max and with Larry real quick. Oh, there he is.
I gotta be careful.
There he is.
I gotta be careful what I say now.
Yeah. Now you gotta be careful. Yeah. Now the big, the other big boys are in town. So, as we bring on Flo and John Michaels, we're gonna close things out here real quick with Max and Larry. Look, Max, I think A-Black may have stole your thunder there on the whole OC thing, but I think it's important that we don't really talk about. We haven't really talked about a lot of the defensive coordinator position and what you can see kind of Mario doing on that end. I know, a lot of names have been thrown out there, but even before we get there, talk to me a little bit about from a recruiting aspect, like some of the guys that you can kind of see, flipping the script and coming over and joining the dark side, or just some names that you've heard out there that are on the transfer portal. Maybe even just some 2022 kids that are looking to pull the trigger now are kind of looking at Miami as well.
Anybody in the country is fair game. I mean, Flo will tell you. Larry will tell you. Anybody in the country is fair game now that Mario's here. As far as guys that I thought we had zero chance with, and now we have a chance, you obviously have the two freak athlete corners out of San Diego where I'm at. Played at the same high school at Keyshawn Smith, Jaleel Tucker, and Florence.
Yeah.
Those guys both run like under a 10.7 100 meter. They're both running like 4.4s. They're absolute freaks. You have those guys that we had zero shot with before Mario. We had zero shot with Evan Stewart, the 5-star receiver. Now wants to come down this weekend, and we had zero shot with Earl Little, and we have a shot with him. And then what Julian said, we have a shot with Kamari Wilson now. So just them entertaining the idea that Mario may come here, they started listening to us. And now that he's here, I mean, anybody we want, we can go after and get. It's not a problem anymore. So that, as far as recruiting, I'm not worried at all. Like A-Black said, he's the best in the game for a reason. He's gonna go get who he wants, and if there's anybody he wants in the portal, he's gonna go get those guys too. As far as OC DC, I won't say Dan Lanning because A-Black stole my pick. But I'm actually going to say his co-DC, which is Glenn Schulman, who might want to be a full DC and is learning. I mean, John knows a lot about him because he's out in that area, but he might want to have his own show, right? And so I will go after him. Go after and get a guy that's proven in the SEC. Another name that I would love is the man, the myth, the legend over at Auburn right now. You saw what he did to Bama this past, not this week, but the week before, and Derek Mason. Wouldn't be opposed to him either. And then OC, I'm gonna stick with Dorsey, just the quarterback guru himself. I just couldn't say no to that.
Yeah, I just feel like with the whole Dorsey thing, I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, he's a Cane. That's why we're only looking at him." Throw that out the window and just look at what he's done. Right, like if he wasn't a former Hurricane, and you look at what he has done in the league and how he's developed these guys, and understanding that he's a passing game coordinator and all these things in the NFL, and he's been able to do what he's done with Cam and with what's his name, Josh Allen. I think that right there will tell you everything you need to know about that guy. So definitely, Max, thanks for coming on the show, man. I appreciate it. I know that this is kind of crazy, but tell them where they can. Don't give all these Flo and John. Don't give them any plugs or anything like that, man.
Well,
I'm just messing with you.
unfortunately, I kind of have to, because you can find me on the Miami Flow YouTube channel Tuesday nights around 9:15, 9:30 ish. We usually go live every Tuesday. So we had John on last week. It's been a ton of fun. Larry, got to get you on once this early signing period's done. We got to collab. So I'll be reaching out to you here shortly. But I appreciate you having me on, Jazz and Vish.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you. Before we finish with Larry, John Michaels and Flo is on the show. John Michaels and Flo is on the show. I like the way that sounded. I don't know. I'm a little too excited today. So what's up? What's going on, fellas? Thanks for coming on.
Man, there is nothing like being too excited today. I have been nonstop. First of all, I did my morning show here in Atlanta. I had 4 naysayers going, "Hey, you're not getting Mario." I said, "I told you guys 2 weeks ago we were getting Mario Cristobal. I told you." I have literally been on podcasts, did my own other radio shows, whatever. It's a glorious day. And first of all, being on with the great Larry Bluestein, are you kidding me? You are a legend.
Oh, man.
You're everything that I've wanted to be.
Yeah, I heard they retired your jersey in Palm Beach already. So
let me tell you, when you were doing stuff when I was playing in Palm Beach, you weren't looking at me. You were looking at Al Shipman, who was my teammate.
Al just stepped down.
Right. Yeah, I saw that.
7 years. Yeah.
Me and him were 4 years together at Palm Beach Lakes. Obviously, he got a lot more accolades than I did. And Stephen Field was a freshman.
Tight end.
He was a freshman when I was a senior. Me and him had a mass media class together in which I got suspended for doing stupid videos, and Steve went on to do way better things than me.
No, I don't know.
Good times.
Right now, I don't know. Maybe yesterday I would have said yes.
Right.
What's up, Flo? What's up, man?
What's good? Just happy to be here. This is, I don't know. It's just I have no words in my vocabulary to explain this day.
Long time coming, man. Long time.
Yeah, but it's official. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all kind of, like John was saying, we kind of knew what was cooking.
Right.
But it took a minute to get to that finish line. You know what I'm saying? It took a little minute. But damn, we didn't just go through the finish line. We drop kicked that thing. You know what I'm saying? So I've been like this all day, just smiling at dudes were like thought I was weird because I was smiling at dudes at the grocery store today. I was like, my bad, dog. I'm just in a good mood, man. I don't know, but yeah, great day. Thanks for having me on.
Yes,
Flo, you know the best part, and I hate to bag on my Georgia brethren here in Atlanta. They are so downtrodden because they got their ass kicked on Saturday afternoon, and everybody's hiding their G gear. And I'm like, dude, you guys are in the playoffs. Relax. I've been wearing my Miami stuff with pride today. I showed up to flag football decked in Miami gear and started calling out the Alabama fans. I said, get your ass out of South Florida because you ain't getting no more of our kids. Don't even go recruit somewhere else. That's a great day. I've been waiting 15 years for this day. I've been on the radio 17 years in Atlanta. I haven't had a day other than the day we beat Notre Dame 41-8 where I could walk in and really authentically be proud of what my program's accomplishing.
Absolutely.
Is Chuck Dowdle still on in Atlanta?
He retired this year. His last year doing sidelines was this year. So, yeah, he shut it down. Actually, I think before the season, he retired in July. So he didn't even get to be part of this big run for them.
Crazy. He had a great career.
He did. Great guy, too. I think he's retiring to Maine to do some fishing up there.
Nice.
Great.
He can go hang out with Blake James up there. Anyways, so check this out. Flo shaking his head. I'm gonna ask you this question too, but I gotta ask the man here. I gotta ask Larry Bluestein about this also. It's Nigel Lee Kelly. Okay. I think that things are starting to kind of cook and heat up with Nigel Lee Kelly, and I know there's been word out there. What's going on, Mike? I know there's word out there that he's looking real hard at Miami, and there's a possibility that he can now kind of commit to the Hurricanes, or it's it's not a big secret anymore. I think that he's leaning towards signing with the Hurricanes. We obviously saw the photo recently on Twitter with him and Cristobal up in Oregon on a visit. So talk to me a little bit about how you feel about Nigel Lee Kelly and maybe a couple other guys that you want to see the Hurricanes kind of grab now with Mario here.
Well, definitely a difference maker. I mean, one of those kids that comes in and within the year he's well into the rotation. Kid that I mean, he grew up quite a bit over the last 2 years, kind of skinny. There's nothing skinny about him now. And against St. Thomas in the game that Dillard lost 20-13 on that blocked field goal, he went out of the game and Dillard. St. Thomas is doing everything. When he came back in, they couldn't do anything. So he's definitely the guy. I mean, certainly you would love to have him. Obviously, I'd love to have Justin Flo because I thought Miami had a chance for Justin Flo before. I mean, he was didn't he say that Miami was in the mix before? So now he gets to actually relive his dream. I think he's one. I don't know if Miami's really going hard for Shamar Stewart. I know somebody texted me that before, and I don't really think so. I think right now with Wesley, they really, really needed to nail him down the way they did because I think I don't think people realize what he can really, really be, as he grows. I mean, the kid vertical's 39. He's fast. He's a sideline to sideline kid. He does a lot of stuff. So I think, it's one of those things where he committed during all this craziness and, people saw it, but not enough saw it. But, those two guys right there, I think Nigel Lee Kelly would be a huge addition. Need to get a couple defensive tackles because if you notice that all your great teams, besides having the tremendous defensive ends, they have interior guys that are just cleaning up. And I think Miami has to go. There's a couple of them out there still, so we'll see what happens. But recruiting-wise, like you said, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I really agree. I just think that Mario just got to get in here and just start getting settled, getting his coaching staff in place, and then get to that off season. And that off season could really translate to gold.
Absolutely. Blue, I think everybody knows where they can find you, but at Larry Bluestein, right, on Twitter.
Yep.
And the high school, South Florida High School Sports Report every
Tonight.
week. Oh, it was tonight, right?
Yeah.
But with everything,
that's right. You see, that's a sacrifice I make for you, Jazz. Because when I need you as a guest, you come.
I'm always there for you, brother. Always.
I'm gonna have to have Mr. Michaels on too soon.
Anytime.
We're gonna have to get into those old days and
Let's
reveal stuff. All right, guys, thanks so much.
As long as you don't get Vish on the show, because then
no, Vish and I will go at it. We'll be like Geraldo.
I'm his trigger. I'm definitely his trigger. We still out doing baseball.
All right, guys, thanks so much.
Take it easy.
See you,
All right.
All right, Larry.
All right. So thanks for Larry, A Black, Max Kessel Hall, everybody joining us on the show. We've got three more big timers here: Flo, John Michaels, and my boy Mike McCoy as well. So thank you guys for joining us here on the program. I kind of want to get to you guys, to John and Flo. I mean, we can talk about how excited we are ad nauseum. We could talk about it all day if we want about Cristobal coming in and finally being here in town. But I think what's more important is what he's already doing, what he's already accomplished just by announcing that he is the next coach of the Miami Hurricanes, right? And Flo, maybe if you can kind of give me your thoughts on, how you felt when you kind of knew this was going to go down, number one, and second of all, how you just talk to me a little bit about what you feel regarding what he's already accomplished just by him saying, I'm going to be the next coach of Miami Hurricanes.
Well, the first thing is, and I'm almost going to guarantee a lot of you guys are going to agree with me, is I forgot what it's like to have nice things. It's almost like,
Amen.
are we really going to get, I don't want to, I'm so used to not getting it. You know what I'm saying? I got conditioned. I went from living in the best days ever to I felt someone robbed me. You know what I'm saying? What just happened? I just lost everything. So, some of us, we kind of knew what was going on and what was cooking. And then they had all that fake stuff come out. And then I'm messaging the guys that gave me the info, and they're like, bro, I already told you, leave me alone. I'm like, yeah, but this dude's saying this. And I mean, I was triple, quadruple checking stuff I was hearing because I couldn't believe it. And then, the one thing I will say by him announcing and making it official, and this is real talk right here. This is dead ass. I don't think the fan base really understands yet. Like the level of like he brings a complete different mentality to like everything that we know is about to change completely. Nothing's gonna stay the same. Nothing. And it's so exciting because you have something else that we've not used to having. It's called money.
Right.
Like, how weird is it to say that we're overpaying? Miami came out sticking their chest out, but not with recruits or talent or chain, which I like the chain, but whatever, I don't want to get into it. No, here's the checkbook. What's up? Like, that blew my mind, you know? But yeah, I don't want to take too much time because I know everybody want to talk. I'll just say this. I don't think no one that doesn't really dig and like eat, sleep, breathe, you know, our program understands the level of change that's about to happen here. And I'll just leave it at that.
I mean, just go, John, just go.
I mean, what more can I say than what Flo just said? But legitimately, yesterday when Mike Ryan's tweet came out that it was official, and we all kind of knew that it was happening. Flo, I'm with you. I must have texted X 300 times, bro. And he was like, John, I got you. And I said this on my own podcast. I have a source that nobody talks to. I promise that nobody knows this guy and has been spot on for me for 4 years. He told me about Mario 4 weeks ago. Told me about Mark Richt 4 or 5 days before he resigned. Like, he gives me stuff. He likes the fact that I don't blast it on Twitter. I just don't do that. It's not really in my MO. My MO is to sit back, and there's sometimes I like to just be a fan. And the last 2 days, I've got to be a fan. You know, my son, and I love to talk about my kids. My youngest son, Kane, and that's his name. He comes to me and goes, Dad, has Miami always sucked in football? Larry, he's 12 years old. And he goes, every time I come down to the basement, you're so mad because we're losing. And my dream has always been one day for my 3 kids to see Miami good. And they've never been alive for that. 2017 was fun, you know, but I think all of us deep down inside knew that this is kind of fraudulent. Like, I love Malik Rozier for everything he did. We knew we weren't winning a championship with Malik Rozier. We just knew that. Mark Richt got everything. He stretched the limit of that team. But when I sat there for a second and yesterday and today and got to be a fan, I legitimately, I'm not, and Blake James is not my source. Blake James can kiss my ass. I'll slap his little ass around. I'll tell you that much. I was sitting in a sauna at the gym getting ready to do a workout, and the Mike Ryan report came out. I'm not going to lie, I had a tear in my eye. Legit, had a tear in my eye. And today, you know, Mike Ryan made us all nervous, and I'm up at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm looking, go, wait, what the hell happened overnight? I went to bed last night going, all right, today's the day. I know it's done. And again, I'm like, do I start texting my people at 4:30 in the morning to find out if this is real? And I said, let it play out. Dude, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I've been up since 4:30 this morning and have been nonstop. They have not sat down and don't care. We could talk for another 45 minutes. It's one of the best days I've felt being a Miami fan, legitimately in 15 to 20 years.
So awesome. But, you know, look, I know that we all kind of feel the same way, but I think that something that we kind of addressed a little earlier in the show, I don't know if you guys caught. I know that I think Mike is pretty passionate about this thing as well, is the whole treatment of Manny Diaz on his way out and all this garbage.
Fuck out of that shit, bro.
You know, I look, it is what it is, right? This is a business, man. This is a business. He knew what he was getting himself into.
Yes,
right?
I don't want to cut you off on this, but I'm
gonna mute myself. Fuck that.
I'm gonna cut you off on this for a second because Amon Richards said, "Man, let's be jerks," and I tweeted him, and I know everybody in this room feels the same way. They already fucking hate us. They hate us. You know why? Because we don't look like SEC football. I can't say we don't look like SEC, but we don't look like SEC fans. I'm not wearing a collared shirt tucked into a fucking pair of khakis. My wife doesn't show up to a game in a sundress. You know what? My wife's Hispanic. Mike McCoy's a brother. Flo's Hispanic. Vish, I don't know what your nationality is. I'm white. Everybody thinks I'm Cuban. You know what? We don't look like everybody else, and they hate us. Fuck them. National media don't like us. I don't give a damn. We didn't treat anybody bad. I told the story on my podcast today. I've been fired from 2 different radio jobs. One, legitimately, the station closed down. You know what they made us do? I worked the damn morning show, and I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning and do the show. They fired us at 10:01. Could have told me the night before. Wouldn't have hurt my damn feelings. My salary was the same. The second one, I did my entire show, sat down, got taken out to lunch by my program director, who offered me a $55,000 pay cut to do the same show. I did to like this to him, and I said, I'm out. I slid my food across the table and walked away with my pride. Don't give me Manny Diaz was treated wrong. He's making $3.5 million a year. You pay me $3.5 million a year, I'll scrub shit out of somebody's ass until they fire me. Then you're going to walk away with $8 million and this dude's penning this crap that's sitting up on the screen in front of us. Man, I don't feel bad for him. I hope he goes to FSU like some of the rumors say, we can wax his sorry-ass defense all over the field. Oh, don't get me started. National media, these over-sanctimonious podcasts. Brett McMurphy and Bill Conley and Andrea Adelson, kiss my ass. All of y'all didn't say a motherfucking thing when people were leaving jobs left and right. Now retreated Manny bad. Get out of here. I hope we start waxing teams' ass because I'm going to talk shit to every last one of them, dude.
Amen. I think that everybody needs to unmute themselves about that one.
I mean, that was glorious.
Talking that shit, Mike. You don't even have to answer that. Yeah, I don't even listen. Good night, everybody. I'm out of here. I don't give a shit about this anymore. Mike, listen. The whole situation with Manny, and I know we got some. Who cares about his as far as his feelings, right? Like,
yeah,
screw your feelings without saying fuck your feelings, But talk to me a little bit about how you feel about the whole situation. Not the whole situation, but just like how excited you are about Manny coming home. Mario coming home.
Listen, man. Most of us here, we've been watching Canes football for a pretty long time, right? I'm 38 years old. I became a Canes fan when I was in the 4th grade. And I was experiencing some of the good years. Okay, I remember that. I have memories of that. 01 was when I was in high school. So that was great, right? But then, the last 15 years happened. So we've looked like a bunch of pansies. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is the athletes have never really been the problem. Maybe a couple of those Randy years, like we really didn't have the guys. But for the most part, that hasn't been the issue. Personnel's really never been the issue. Maybe a certain group of the team, maybe O-line here, there, like every year, every team has, right? But the mentality was gone, okay? The mentality was gone. They were not playing like Canes. What I'm going to bring up to you is a couple weeks ago, it was obviously a Saturday night game. I don't know if Oregon was home or away, but I remember it being one of those 10:30 kickoffs or whatever. And the receiver made a first down, and he did something stupid, threw the ball on the floor. They got a penalty, all right? Mario went off, okay? Went off on the guy, all right? That's called accountability. If your coach isn't going to do it for you, the players got to do it. But in that case, Mario did it. You know what I'm talking about. The little kid went to and I say little kid because that's exactly what he felt like. Going up to Mario, he looked up to him like this. Mario was all in his grill. And what did the kid say? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he walked away. And Mario probably hugged him after the game. We don't have that. We don't have the leaders on the sideline. We don't have leaders in the game. We don't have leaders in the locker room. We have leaders anywhere. I've told Billy Corbin this several times. His 30 for 30s were probably a gift and a curse for Miami because, that's what they used to play like? Oh, I like that. Not knowing a goddamn thing about what the U's really about, but they just want to come here because the U and the orange and the tradition and this and that, and it's going to get into the NFL. And at one point, it was a curse for us, all right? But, I mean, it was a great job. They did everything for us, highlighting the past and everything. But what the point I'm trying to get at is Mario is going to bring that attitude back. Everybody always says it starts from the top, right? Nobody's going to fuck with Mario. Nobody's going to mess with Mario because you want to know what? It's either his way or the highway. And there's probably going to be a lot of highways, but I don't care because if you can't play here, remember what Ed Reed's press conference said? He said, if you don't want to work hard, don't come here, okay? That's the same thing with Mark. We're talking about a guy that played with greats like that, but then coached under Saban? Listen, man, it's a no-nonsense attitude, and that's the first thing that I felt because we're going to go out there and we are going to play like assholes, all right? Kiss your girlfriends, kiss your cheerleaders, take the dirt off the middle of the sideline and go home, and I love it. That's the number one thing. recruiting, everybody's talking about that. Great. Which guy's decommitting? Okay, cool. I'm talking about here, right here. They're going to start playing like Canes, and they're going to know what real Cane football is like, because we haven't been showing that since 02, really. Since 02. Since LSU took the wind out of our sails. When we got our asses kicked in that Sugar Bowl and Jacob Hester ran for 150 million yards, that was all she wrote. And then, Larry Coker fires
right here in the Peach Bowl. I was at that game. I had to walk out of there before I died.
Peach Bowl, there you go. And then Larry Coker fires everybody to save his ass. That was LSU. We owe them one. But yeah, man, that was the first thing I thought about. I said, we're gonna start playing like men and not little boys.
Yep. Real quick, by the way, Manny, if you could post it up real quick on Chug came through, baby. Chug my beer. He's one of the greats out here, one of the goats. Thanks for the dono, man. Appreciate that a lot. Great day to be a Miami Hurricane. The U has a bright future. Finally smash the like button, Canes for life. Yeah, absolutely. And DWB, thanks for the dono as well, man. Great day to be a Cane. Flo, you the man for real. Woo, Flo, you the man.
I paid him for that shit.
Well, that's where we got the $4.99 from. Thanks, man. We appreciate it, Flo. So check this out. Yeah, I mean, look, Nick Saban's coaching staff had Mel Tucker and Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin, Billy. Yeah, I mean that was a hell of a coaching staff, and that's where I kind of wanted to go. And by the way, someone mentioned it earlier, but it's funny, right? Like, we had a guy decommit, Justin Medlock decommitted. Nobody gave a shit. Like, nobody had no idea. I mean, it didn't matter. It didn't matter, right? So, like, that was kind of fun to see that we didn't really care about that, because we obviously see what's coming up now, what's going on. And I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit really quick before I let you guys go. But before that, coaching staff. I think it's important. I think everybody now, this is where it gets exciting, right? The next couple of weeks is going to be exciting, kind of trying to understand who he's going to retain, if anybody, who he's going to bring with him, or who he's looking at outside of his own staff or the staff that's here now. Flo, I kind of want to get your take on this first before we get to John and Mike about it. Just talk to me a little about what you can kind of see when it comes to, does he want to retain anybody? I know we've spoken about who we think maybe he should keep on staff, some of the guys that he's going to bring in from Oregon, but and also some others. Talk to me a little bit about what you think, what he's going to do when it comes to all that.
I think the retaining thing is real interesting, because you can make a case probably for, in my opinion, for 3 guys, possibly a 4th, right? I don't know how much culture change you can have if you retain that many dudes, in my opinion, and it doesn't mean I don't like those dudes. I want to make sure I'm clear. I love them dudes. And what I might say might be a little unpopular, because it's only one position coach and the rest is a guy behind the scenes, which is Cooney. I think Cooney you got to hold on to personally, and I think DVD is someone you have to hold on to. Now, if Fields is okay with going back to being a recruiting guy, I think you definitely jump on that, because I'd be surprised if Mario doesn't bring his boy, Bobby, what's his name?
Bobby Williams?
Yes, him. I'd be shocked if he doesn't bring him. That dude is just a straight awesome, right? And, Fields already has a relationship with Mario and in that role before, right? So I don't know if that conversation has happened. Honestly, I don't. I'm not trying to be funny. But I think if Fields is okay with going back to recruiting, the issue is the other guy that everyone's going to, what about T-Rob? I like T-Rob. I just want to make sure I keep that 100. I like T-Rob. I like what he brings. But I'm not sure. To be honest, I've heard weird stories. I don't know what's true, what's not. I've heard some crazy stuff with T-Rob and Mario. I don't know what's true personally, but I think DVD is a young T-Rob. I really believe that. I mean, if you've been following recruiting, and I wish Larry was still on here, a lot of the bigger names that Miami has landed in the last 2 or 3 years, other coaches were getting their name put next to them, but it was DVD that actually got those guys. Like, everyone knew who the real dude was. So that's why Miami was like, no, we're good. Ruff, you go do your thing over here. No, you're not taking him to Utah State. We're going to put you right to the cornerback. No way. Because they knew what was going on. And in what did DVD do in, like, the first couple weeks? The 3 corners were all DVD pretty much. T-Rob had to do something with one of them. But DVD was 3. Like, we went from having no corners to the best cornerback class in the history of the history of University of Miami, and that was predominantly DVD. So I think it's DVD, and I think it's Cooney, guys that you need to keep because they're just straight assassins on the trail, straight assassins. And if Fields can go back to recruiting, oh my God, you definitely lock him down if you can. And I think T-Rob is the X factor. I don't know with T-Rob. I would like T-Rob to stay personally. I think he got a bad rap this year. I don't think he was allowed to do the things he wanted to do, from what I've heard. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I believe in T-Rob personally. I think his resume speaks for itself. You know, I don't have to pump him up, and all you got to do is talk to the runners or the handlers of the recruiters, of the recruits, and they'll tell you that guy right there is the truth. You know, so those are the names I'll say.
And it's funny now we got guys in play like Kamari Wilson, right? This Kevin Coleman cat that now has us in play in his top 3. So I think that just keeping maybe some of those guys like a DVD or even a T-Rob. I know Cooney is, I got a feeling that Cooney might stick around either way because I don't think you can let that guy go anywhere else because he's just going to murk the competition. That's what he does too. Like he's the man. So yeah, I think you hit it spot on with that. And real quick before we let you go, Flo, I just want to give me 2 names: who your OC is and who your DC is. Who you want? Not who you.
Who do I want?
Who do you want? There you go. We're gonna keep. We're gonna.
All right. I want Ken Dorsey. I want Ken Dorsey at OC, and at DC I would like Muschamp.
All right. Fair enough. I'll take that. That's not what. Anyways, Flo, man, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, man.
I love you guys, bro. I watch all you guys, and I hear some of y'all like John, you the man. Vish was good. Mike, I had a good time with you on Saturday.
Yes.
Jazz, you know what time it was on Saturday, too. I appreciate you. Y'all kill it. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Much love. It's a beautiful day to be a Miami Hurricane.
That is it. We'll be doing
Take
it
care.
again soon.
All
Take
right,
it easy,
man.
John, listen, man, like he kind of talked about it a little bit there with regards to, what this is going to do for recruiting and what this is going to do, as far as like keeping certain guys in. He kind of talked about the guys he wants retained. Who do you think that he is going to bring in, maybe from his staff or even from the outside, that you can kind of see Cristobal, based off of his experience with certain guys, or just as in general, who you want to see him kind of bring in? And that'll kind of play into who you want OC and DC and all that stuff as well.
I've read what everybody else has read. I was not super familiar with the Oregon staff. I mean, I'll be honest. I watched some Oregon games. I didn't like their offensive coordinator. He took the job at Akron. I didn't like his defensive coordinator, DeRitter. I didn't really like the way that they played. So I'm fine with those guys not coming. Some of the other players, Mirabel, you got to bring him along, obviously, and he's coming as your offensive line coach. Quite frankly, I don't care if he brings anybody else from Oregon. Build your own staff here. I don't need us to take their identity and turn it into our identity. This is a chance for Mario Cristobal to tap into coaching under Nick Saban, coaching at Oregon, coaching at FIU, building all the relationships that he's had, and go find guys that you want to build your Miami Hurricanes. And I think that's part of what we get caught up in a lot of different times is, people look and they go, oh, he needs to bring 5 guys from his staff. Yeah, you're going to want a couple of people for familiarity because you're going to want people that know how to kind of coach the other coaches how to do things your way. I don't need 5 or 6 guys. Give me 1 or 2. Give me your right-hand man, and then go find me guys that you built relationships with. Stephen Field, I want him to keep. Part of that, yeah, I did go to high school with Steve. He half doesn't remember me, which is fine. I was 4 years older than him. He was a freshman when I was a senior, but I want Steve to be there. Steve is great on the recruiting trail. His culture reminds me a lot of me. Went to an HBCU, coached at Miami Northwestern. We went to Palm Beach Lakes High School together. So he understands the culture of South Florida. You need that kind of guy. T-Rob, I'm fine with. He's obviously had deep SEC recruiting, connections for many, many years. I wouldn't mind him staying. DVD, fine. If you want to keep him, that's fine. Nobody else on the staff needs to even be thought of. And it's nothing against Rob Likens, Garen Justice. I think these guys did good jobs for what they were given. Jess Simpson, obviously, has done a really good job on the D-line. He can let every one of those guys go. Go find me a Kevin Patrick who's been begging for seemingly 10 years to come back to Miami. Can I get Kevin Patrick a job somewhere doing something on this staff? Find me guys like that are hungry and want to be here. And I think if all of that stuff happens, I think you got a chance to really put together, and especially if we're paying the $8 million that's been really thrown out there, That'll be the highest budget for any ACC staff. That's what we're back in the football business.
Amen.
Absolutely. Hey, John, let them know where they can find you, brother.
At John Michaels U on social media is the easiest way. You know what that U stands for. 680 The Fan, Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. I got a feeling I might be able to get in about 5 minutes of Miami talk, and then the State of Miami pod. It's on Apple, iTunes, everything else. Trust me, with SEC title stuff and Georgia in the playoffs, if I say Miami 3 times, my program director comes running down. What are you doing? We just hired Mario Cristobal. What the hell do you mean? What am I doing? By the way, real quick, here's I'll talk Falcons if you ever want. We suck too right now. We're 5-7. If you want to know who I want as an OC and a DC, outside the box, I would love Graham Harrell, who was the offensive coordinator at USC. What do we do best right now? Throw it all over the yard. We have Tyler Van Dyke. Go get me a spread guy and that's probably a name out of left field that you won't hear. And I'm with Flo. Give me Will Muschamp. I want a fuck you defensive coordinator who is going to be in. I don't need players over there dancing on the sideline. Think we're going to miss 40 tackles a game with Will Muschamp? He'll throw your ass into the Gatorade bucket. Give me that kind of.
I mean, you kind of leave me speechless sometimes, John. Not even.
I was fired up before he came on the show, and now I'm like, I'm ready to go play right now. Damn.
Thanks, John. I appreciate you coming on, brother.
Anytime. You can't have me on with Mike. He makes me look bad. He's in the gym. He's wearing these extra small shirts. You know, Mike, you're gonna work in media. You got to be a fat guy like us.
Love you, man. Love you.
Hey, love you guys, man. We'll talk soon, man. It's all about you today. This
Always
is a great
day. Yes, sir. All right, we can bring in our final 2 guests too while we get to Mike. It's kind of hard to
Bro.
It's kind of hard, right?
Bro, it's like being at a concert and going up after Michael Jackson performed. Like
exactly,
you know,
that's the problem. I don't know how you're gonna top that, but hey, listen, you can try. So let's get right into it, right? And as we bring in Jakari Givens and Brian the Beast London, look at that smile! Look at that smile by the Beast, man. What's up, Big Daddy? How you doing?
Yo, how's it hanging, boys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man. Mike. So check this out. We've been talking about this, and obviously, I'll get your opinions as well on this, Beast and Jock, regarding staff that he may be looking to retain, who you want kind of retained, but not only that, but like who he may bring in from his prior staff at Oregon, or maybe some guys that are on other staffs that he may be looking to bring in as well, Mike.
Well, I mean, everybody knows the given is going to be his boy that he went to high school with, the master of disaster on the O-line. How Alex Mirabal, it's just funny to me how an O-line coach is puny.
Yeah, he's like
as Alex is. It's just so weird. It's like being a basketball coach or a basketball player and wearing a size 8. I don't get it.
Yo, like I've been told my whole life, size doesn't matter, man.
That's what she said, right? No, so you got to bring him. You got to bring him. I forget how long ago it was, because being in shape is the same 20 years ago versus now. I really wanted Tommy Moffitt, right? That's first name is Tommy.
Yeah.
I really wanted Moffitt because it was familiarity with the program and being a kid, and plus he got the best college football team ever in shape. He's the one that got them conditioned, all right? So I really wanted that. I'm okay with
Aaron Feld, but then you see Aaron Feld and you're like, okay, well, that's not
right. I mean, the mustache. It's not necessarily Miami, but I'll take it. Maybe he'll diet or something. I don't know. I'll take him. He's crazy. Wasn't that? I don't know if it was him or the Northwestern strength and conditioning coach, because they're both crazy. That was like bleeding from his forehead after he was hitting a player with his helmet or something. It was one of those two guys.
Yeah, it was one of those two guys. They're both nuts.
Yeah, they're nuts. So I'm okay with either of those. Mirabal. I love Coach Field, man. Anytime I reach out to him, he's really accessible. He's really cool. If I have any questions or whatever. So it's a personal thing with him, but he is a killer on the trail, right? So, I mean, like everybody was saying before me, I hate to regurgitate, but I think just like them. If he wants to focus on recruiting, great, he'll kill it here. He did a great job at Oregon. He did a great job at Louisville before that. And, his familiarity with Coach. Running back coach, the only reason I bring that up is because I have an infatuation with Kevin Smith. He's over at Ole Miss right now under Lane Kiffin. And I think that's a Miami guy from Miami South Ridge. Huh?
I don't think he'll leave. I think he like Lane. He's in love.
It's like fantasy coaches right now, man. That I want.
Kevin,
It may not.
Kevin
I don't even know if he'll.
mentor. He was my
I don't even know if he'll
mentor.
get a phone call, but man, if they could bring, I mean, for obvious reasons, you're from here, you ran for 2,000 yards in college, you'll be able to recruit, but Miami never really has a need for a great running back coach. Miami is always going to produce great running backs no matter what. Okay, cool. And OC, I mean, the popular picks are what? If I had to pick between Brady and Dorsey, I'd go Dorsey because of the simple fact that he's always this close to getting an NFL OC job. Okay, just this close. Everybody talks about Brady and not wanting to recruit. We don't know if that's going to be Dorsey's thing. We're assuming that he like to recruit. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he's always this close to getting an OC job and he's a Kane, I think I'd take him over Brady if it was up to me. That's what I'd do.
Well, and not only that, if you bring in enough recruiting analysts, like how all these big programs, you don't have to worry so much about that. But continue.
100%. 100%. No. You're right. You're fine. DC. Muschamp, yeah, but how about A-Back probably brought it up. Derek Mason at Auburn, that would be I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. And why not Kevin Steele too? He wanted to come here a couple years ago or a year ago. Any of those guys, I'm fine with.
Yeah, big time. You know what? I want to keep you around, Mike, for one more thing because I want to get to Jock about this because he did mention this earlier before we get to Beast, which I think he makes great. I think he makes great sense about it, right? You're of the belief, Jock. If correct me if I'm wrong, is to kind of. I know we have some similarities and some agreements on Cooney, right? I think Coach Cooney is the kind of guy that needs to stick around. However, you kind of feel like get rid of everybody. If you're going to have a complete, and John mentioned this, and I think Flo did also, if you're going to have a complete culture change, you got to get rid of everybody that was here before. Jock, talk to me a little bit about why you feel that way. And I think it's a good point, but, based off of what you're feeling regarding, who you want to retain and who you kind of want to bring in from why would you get rid of everybody?
Well, just because, I mean, in the last 20 years, Miami hasn't been really like good. So, you want to kind of build your if you're Cristobal. So getting rid of all those coaches who have anything to do with previous players or whatever it may be. I think the only guy, 3-4 candidates that I would keep, I think Ed Reed is going to be on the staff as an official coach, to be honest. The only thing is I don't know if he's going to like the recruiting. Cooney is another guy. I'm about 85% sure that Cooney's going to be on the staff, according to the people I know and the sources that I heard. But other than that, they need to go. I don't really see the need for them. I know we love some of the guys. I like T-Rob too. I like DVD, but I think those guys have garnered enough reputation to get jobs elsewhere within the state. I don't really see the need for that. I think Cristobal built his own thing at Oregon. And I think that now he has to continue with that, and now he has to build something in Miami. We can obviously keep Fields. Fields is a great recruiter, so that's another guy. But I would pretty much clean house. I've never been a believer in retaining staff from previous staffs anyway. I think that's what Manny Diaz kind of went wrong in his tenure. You don't fire guys. You just move them around and demote them, and you keep the same guys in the building, and their feelings are not going to change, right? You still gotta have those guys where, like I went through a coaching change in college as well. So our coach got fired, and we kept some of the same coaches. Like when we brought in the new coach, they kept the defensive coordinator, and it was wrong. You can't do that because he still has his personal feelings towards whatever the program may be. And he might not like the Cristobal hire. Obviously, guys are going to try to protect jobs. We all want jobs, right? So those guys are going to say the right things, but they also in deep down inside, but it could have been they could be Manny Diaz guys, right? So they're going to always straddle the fence. It's similar to like when you have two quarterbacks, right? Like you look at an Oklahoma situation where they had Rattler and Williams, Rattler has friends on the team as well. So I think that's why you clean house. Just because you want to start over from scratch. And I think most of the fans would want to see a fresh start and not a continuum. Oh, let's try to keep this tradition and all those guys. Those guys have had their chances. and I think you just start over new. I don't think Cristobal needs the recruiting help like people are saying. He doesn't need that. He's already one of the probably top 3, top 4 recruiters in the country already. So I don't think he needs that added boost from those other guys.
Yeah,
because you're only keeping them on the staff for recruiting purposes, and I feel like good recruiters.
Which, by the way, though, isn't. Yeah, and that's true, right? You have a lot of recruiters that could be an analyst anywhere in the country. There's certain guys that maybe you want to keep. And Beast, I'm going to kind of throw this over to you, like all of us have mentioned, Coach Field, DVD, Cooney, some of those guys that you can keep on as analysts if they're willing to take on those roles, because it's very important in this day and age in college football to have not 3 recruiting analysts like we did, but have 47. Obviously, I'm throwing out crazy numbers, but you get what I'm saying, is to have multiple guys that can really do that can kind of own a specific territory and really get in deep with the players and the coaches and the families of these players. So with that being said, who are some of the guys that maybe you can kind of envision maybe them retaining, and then also him bringing in either from his current staff or from guys that maybe he's had past relationships with, or just anybody in general that maybe you can see kind of coming in and being a part of the staff now with Cristobal?
I do think that the analyst role is an interesting one that will, I think, not only be a place for some of these guys that are currently on staff that he wants to keep, whether, two guys, 3 guys could be put, it keeps them here. Especially if they were already in on recruiting and know the players on the roster, but also gives them a spot. But I'll be honest with you, my DMs have been hot from former players that would love to be analysts, and I'm not ready to throw those names out yet, but I can tell you there's a lot of guys that both have been coaches at other schools and also haven't yet been coaches that want to be part of this program in any way they possibly can be because of the direction it's going in. So I listen, I know we always like to live in the past here at Miami, and sometimes I love it and sometimes I don't. But if there's a position available as an analyst, as an assistant, as a video assistant, whatever it is, and we could bring guys in that know what it looks like to win, I'm all for it. The one guy that I really wish, hope that he keeps is Stephen Field. And we've all talked about it tonight. And, I know Steve back when he was a GA. We used to ride the bus together. And I think what he stands for, the kind of man that he is, he came back to Miami to be here for his family. I know his daughter's off to college, but being a family guy is important to him. And I think he's so good in the recruiting trail. And to be honest, coaching tight ends, he got Will Mallory to go from, I don't know what he was in the beginning of the year to, being a big part of the offense towards the end of the year. So that's a good thing. I hope Steven stays. As for the other guys, I'll take it or leave it. So we'll see.
Who are some of the guys you think he's going to retain? I mean, not retain. I'll bring with him. Aside from Mirabal, I think we all know Mirabal.
Well, I mean, I like John said, I didn't, to tell you though I know much about the Oregon staff, I'd be lying. Everyone knows about Mirabal, so I expect that, and we'll see what else. Listen, it also depends on who Oregon hires as a coach. Right. And what that guy does and who there's a bunch of different pieces to the puzzle. Mm-hmm. So, Mario may want to bring a guy, but the coach that's incoming to Oregon wants to keep that guy. And that guy may want to stay at Oregon instead of coming to Miami. So you never know. There's so many pieces to the puzzle. The dominoes have to fall, all of that stuff. So we'll see what happens. The most important thing to me is who the coordinators are, because that's going to establish what type of team this is, as far as schematically, offensively, and defensively.
And that also helps bring in whatever position coaches you want.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Coordinators.
You bring a good point up. So that's really where I wanted to kind of head with this also with all 3 of you. And we'll kind of go the other way around now and start with Beast again, since you kind of mentioned it right there. I don't know if I should say who do you want or who you think. are going to be the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, but kind of throw me out. And I know we've gone through this with Robbie as well when we did that show last week.
Yeah.
But just some names. Well, not even just some names. Give me one name as an offensive coordinator, one name on the defensive side that you might want to see or think that they're going to kind of go for.
John threw up Graham Harrell, and listen, if biased, like being completely biased as like good for me personally, it would be Ken Dorsey, because we've known each other for since he got to school in 1999. I was flying around with that team. I was there. I used to have lunch with Ken every Wednesday. So for me personally, I mean, for my whatever I do, I'd like Ken. If I'm just being unbiased, I would like someone that is going to kind of pick up where Lashley left off in the kind of offense that we're running. Although I would like to establish some sort of better run game, and especially don't effing call a run from the shotgun up the middle on 4th and 1. I will put my head through glass. But that being said, you have Tyler Van Dyke. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country next year. You're going to have a wealth of talent at receiver. So let's take advantage of that and find someone that's going to do that. Let's find someone that's going to cater to that talent. Then on defensive, I know everyone's been talking about Will Muschamp. I love that name. He does not bleep around at all. There will not be the kind of just lack of tackling and attention to details that there has been on defense. So I'd like to see that. And if it's not him, I know that we've heard the Kevin Steeles and all this stuff, but like to me, that's like retread city. I just feel like a lot of those guys have been around and around and around, and for whatever reason, their names keep coming up. And I'd like to, it's just a new age in college football. And so if it's not a guy like Muschamp, then give me somebody that's innovative, that's young, and does not mess around. And I don't know who this person is, but in my mind, it's somebody that is freaking not going to take mistakes. And so that's who I'm looking for on defense.
I know who that person is. It just came to mind.
Okay.
Why not go after T Will? Why not go after T Will again?
Yeah, not a bad idea.
It just comes to my head.
The defensive coordinator?
Yeah, he's over at UCF right now.
He's a linebackers coach over there, right?
He's a coordinator. That's why he left.
Yeah. The other name that was mentioned, this is interesting, is in Barry Jackson's article, was Clint Hurt. Clint Hurt, I didn't even realize this. He's the associate head coach and defensive line coach at Seattle. Now, I'm not saying I want Clint Hurt calling plays. I don't know if he can do that or has a desire to do that, but and I don't know why he would leave the Seattle Seahawks as the associate head coach to come to Miami. But that's another guy that has been working his way up the coaching ranks. Isn't
he also considered retread city though, right?
Well, no, because he was trying to get jobs in college. He couldn't do it. He went to the Chicago Bears and took a chance on a career in the NFL and ended up making it big and doing a good job with the linebackers of the Bears, and then over to Seattle and working with Pete Carroll.
I wonder if the reason why he couldn't get a job in college might be still problematic for us specifically.
That's exactly
his name was on the check, dude.
Yeah. No. I mean, I get that, but remember, like, no one else is around.
That's true. I mean, it's been 15 years or whatever.
Yeah,
I think it's fine now at this point.
Whatever, but I see what you're saying. I just thought it was an interesting name that Barry Jackson threw out there.
Yeah, and I think something everyone's touching on is like that toughness angle that's been missing. Like that's why we want Muschamp. He's also, you could consider a retread too of sorts, but we just want that attitude, and that's where the running the football comes in, right? I don't think anyone wants to go back to let's get in the I formation and slam it in the line or something. No one wants to do that, but you do need that toughness. You can have toughness and still throw the ball around, and we have not been tough. And those short yardage, that's why we lose those.
But that's why we've been talking about Tommy Moffitt, because he doesn't take bleep from anybody. A matter of fact, I had a bunch of former players tell me that the linemen love Moffitt because that's like the attitude that he has, but also there tends to be some injuries under Moffitt because he pushes guys pretty hard. And that I remember that distinctly, when I was at UM when he was there in the mid-90s, is that guys were getting hurt. because he does not stop. But yeah, toughness is a thing, man. You can be fast. You can have all the the fire that you want, but freaking don't stop. That's what made Miami great. Is the receivers, right? You go watch film of like the 2000 receivers with Santana and Reggie and Andre King and Darryl Jones, and Andre Johnson couldn't even get on the field. He redshirted. And you'll see them blocking downfield as if like they didn't block, they would lose their job, and they ended up being Hall of Fame wide receivers. That's what you need, is that toughness, right?
And that's something Mike touched on earlier with those U documentaries from Billy Corbin. I don't know if Beast and Jock were listening at that point, but those were kind of a double-edged sword because they glorified like the celebration part of it. They did also talk about how hard everyone worked, and I feel like a lot of people, because it's been so long since the program's actually been good.
By the way, I got breaking.
Go for it. I will stop talking. Go for it.
Mario Cristobal has touchdown at Opelika.
All right.
So you guys,
he's in county. He's in the county.
I can't believe
when you said breaking news and then you started with Mario Cristobal, I was like, what just happened? We should have been at the airport, man. What are we doing?
Listen,
Live show from the airport.
I'll be honest with you guys. If I wasn't on this right now, I'd be at Opelika with the camera in someone's face.
I bet you would,
dude. When Blake James brought home Mark Richt, I went to Opelika, and Blake, like, they got off the plane. Mark, his wife, I think maybe Mark's son was there, and there was a bunch of SUVs waiting for him. They did not expect me in their face with cameras, and the look I got from Blake James was like, Beast, I could freaking punch you. But I got a couple smiles, got some pictures, got some video, and they rolled out in the Escalades. But I would have been there if it wasn't for you, Jazz and Vish and everybody.
You're watching the Patriots game. Let's be real. You weren't going to be there.
I mean, the winds are blowing 50 miles per hour in Buffalo. It's not that great of a game right now.
What were you saying, Jack?
For me, OC-wise, there's only one guy that I really, really think he should go after, and that's Kendall Browse. I think you're going to make him the highest paid OC. Browse I know he has a little bit of, backlash, but
I don't know.
I'm not comfortable with that backlash. I'm just to be honest.
Yeah, I'm just not comfortable with anyone in the Browse family.
But Kendall Browse, offensively, you can't deny his talents offensively. I think him and Tyler Van Dyke would be good. Obviously, you got Joe Brady, who people are going to clamor for. I think they can dip into that NFL realm as well. I know they got Ken Dorsey, but you never know who gets fired at the end of the season that may want to go to college. But I think there's only one choice, and I think that's Kendall Browse, in my opinion. And defensively, I would go get the guy Deontay Jones from LSU. He was a pretty good coordinator with all the injuries this past year at LSU. I think he's, he'll be open to leaving. Obviously, they just got Brian Kelly. And also you can go get the guy from Baylor. His name is Ron Roberts. But I don't know, because he is coaching under Aranda, who's a defensive mastermind. So we don't really know how great of a defensive coordinator he is. But at the same time, you look at Mel Tucker, who coached under a great defensive coordinator in Kirby Smart, and he's turned out to be a pretty good head coach as well. So I think those are two good guys who would be good. But Browse is probably my number one option. I don't like the Graham Harrell option. I don't think he did what he should do at SC for a while. I don't like the offense that he was deploying there. I think it was kind of like a name hire and not a schematic hire for them, because they didn't do pretty well with him. But I like Browse. I think he brings the creativity, and he brings the running game aspect to Miami, what guys want to see. And I think he's tough. To allude to some of you guys' points, I don't think toughness is going to be an issue with Cristobal's teams, because it starts at the top. It doesn't matter if you got tough coordinators or whatever it is. If your head coach is soft, the team is going to be soft because they're going to follow the leader. You just seen it with Manny Diaz. Rhett Lashley was more of a fiery guy than Manny was, but you follow the leader of your leader. So For me, those are my guys who I think. But it's gonna be tricky though. The coordinator situation is tricky because it's so many good OCs out there, or he may take a chance on a receivers coach. That's how one of these schools. So it's tricky for me.
The one thing I'll say is this, guys, is hopefully with Radakovich signing and Mario in there and the entire 180 that this athletic department has done and the money that's being spent and the stories that are out there, as far as how much money is being spent, the phone is going to be ringing off the hook and the doors are going to be open to all sorts of coaches and coordinator possibilities that never would have considered a job.
I think we're going to hear so many different names. It's going to be crazy.
The only reason why I think Dorsey won't come to Miami is because I think he's going to get a head coaching job in this cycle in the NFL. And I also think I've been thought he should have been the OC because if you look at any quarterback he's touched, Josh Allen, Cam Newton,
like gold.
He's just done work with him. Personally, I would love to see him, on a personal note, I would love to see him go to the Ravens next year to go, coach up Lamar. But that's, a pipe dream. But I'm just saying, I don't think Dorsey comes to college. I don't think he likes it.
So there's a couple of things Jog touched on there. So one thing is LSU is a good market opportunity because anytime a coach comes in, if they got their guys, people will shake loose. That is a quality assistant coaching pool they got there that Brian Kelly might have his guys coming in, and same thing's going to happen to some of our coaches. Some of our assistant coaches are really good, but if Mario's got his guy that's the same position, you're out. It doesn't really matter. Right. And so that's where Moffitt shook loose, right? Like Brian Kelly's got his guy, you're gone. So there's a good opportunity to pick up some really good assistants. The other thing is just, a lot of this is just connections. It's who Mario knows and he's comfortable with. That's where, I don't think when Manny was hired, we're like, oh, we're going to go get Louisiana Tech's defensive coordinator. But he worked with him at Texas. It's who he was comfortable with. So there's always an element of that, too. So anytime you can find, a connection back to the coach where they know each other and he's comfortable with them, there's always a better bet that that's one of the guys that's coming in.
Here's another thing I've learned, in my time of covering the sport, which is a lot of these coaches have connections to other guys that you would never think they would have connections with because of the conventions, off season. They pass each other in the night on the recruiting trail. And a lot of times, you go to trace a coach's background. So Mario has been at Rutgers, FIU, Alabama, Miami, Oregon, and you're trying to play, XYZ and connect the dots, but you have no idea who he's in touch with or who he knows that, 20 years ago he met at a coaching convention and stayed in touch with, or, 15 years ago was recruiting against some guy constantly when he was recruiting X, Y, and Z. He stayed in touch with.
My defensive coordinator in college, Clint Bourne, you would have never thought in a million years that him and Cliff Kingsbury were great friends. These people were going on vacations together. They really knew each other. And then some of the stories, obviously
that makes sense.
Heard about Cliff, it's wow, it's crazy. But to your point, a lot of the hires be guys that, are second party guys, not guys they're really close with. It's just the old line coach probably. I know he's coming. I have a hard time.
Yeah, that's gonna. Yeah, Mirabel's. That's not even a question.
Well, I think he's gonna come, and I would guess he's probably gonna get the associate head coach position. Sure. I would think.
Yeah.
Also, we don't know. He could also be a guy and play for the offensive coordinator job. We don't know.
We'll see. The good thing is that we're gonna see in the next 2 weeks. And also, money is not an issue.
Yeah,
money is not an issue.
I was gonna say that. I just like that Miami's finally opening up the chat books. They kind of, they know they went wrong with Manny Diaz. I said that from the day one. You can't, and this is not a job where the fans and the boosters and the alumni want guys who are trying to learn how to be head coaches. You go down there and play at, you go play in those Sun Belt conferences to learn how to be a head coach. You don't do that here. So I think that's what Miami failed him, and Manny Diaz failed Miami. They never gave him a real chance to be a good head coach because, like I said, we're expecting to compete for ACC titles, college football playoffs. We're not trying to be here, talking about us losing to, Virginia, 31-30, like 31-30. Like, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about college football playoffs. And for the expectations for Cristobal, I'm giving him to 2024 to really start rolling. He's going to win games, and I think this was the right time for him to make the jump. He's seen the writing on the wall with Lincoln Riley. He wasn't going to be able to compete with that. California was going to be Lincoln's now. And Clemson's dynasty is kind of over, so I think he jumped ship at the right time, and I think he'll be able to, lock down the state of Florida like we.
Yeah,
so only guy.
ACC's wide open, man.
Yeah, it's only one guy he's gonna always have to compete with, and we all know who that guy is. So there's only one guy, and we all know that's Nick Saban. That's the only guy we'll be able to, he'll have to compete with recruiting with. But other than that, I think they're good to go.
I know it's a transition year for Miami football, but the cupboard is not bare at all. I think it's safe to say that the coaching staff is going to be well above average. With all that being said, I don't think, including with you guys just mentioned how the ACC looks, especially the Coastal, I don't think it's far-fetched to say that we need to end up at least playing in Charlotte in December. I don't think that's a far-fetched year one goal.
In year one, man.
It doesn't matter. All those things that I just mentioned, we're in a sorry-ass division. We got talent. We got the best quarterback in the ACC.
You can't say you have the best quarterback. We all thought DJ.
He's the best quarterback in the ACC.
Was going to be the best quarterback in the ACC. He had a down year, so you have to take into account those guys do have slumps. Does he know how to handle success? It takes a lot to say. Now,
Tyler Van Dyke is the best quarterback in the ACC. At the very least, the Coastal. At the very least, the Coastal.
Coming back, I think he's either one or two.
I agree with that.
But you know what? This is the most important offseason he's had. Because it's time to.
He's the guy. It's not
right. He's the guy, and it's time to build on what he's done. But also, you have to work harder because going into next season, everybody's got tape on you. Everybody's got film on you. You ain't catching anybody by surprise.
Yep.
So you best work your butt off because that it's going to be even tougher to make some of these reads, considering some of these defensive coordinators are going to now know how to game plan against you.
100%. I can't refute that at all.
I mean, the ACC is kind of like that heckle and jive. Like, they always have that one team come out of nowhere. So I don't know. I mean, I know everybody's going to expect, the Canes to do that. I just expect the Canes to have a good season. But like I said, I think about 2024 because I think Cristobal has to recommit the trenches. Miami has to get better in the trenches.
He did say this. He did say it. He did say it in his, when in one of the places that he spoke that he's going to need time to get this ship right. But I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Just
the ACC Coastal is dumb, though. Like, the ACC Coastal is not good. I'm sorry. Like that, you should be able to win this division.
At the very least. At the very least.
Are you guys going to be disappointed?
Say what? Say it again.
If they do not make it to Charlotte next year, you guys going to be disappointed.
Absolutely.
Well, yes. No, for me, it's always how they don't make it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's like, hey, there's some crazy ending to a game that whatever, like, okay, I can deal with that. But if it's like this year where you're good enough to beat a Pitt, but you're not good enough to beat a Virginia, like, to me that's where I throw my hands up and get.
Yeah, there's always that caveat. Like, if there's a team that's like wins 10 or 11 games, sure. But if you're sitting there competing for 8 wins and trying, then
like, this is why I say it. Were you guys expecting Wake Forest or Pitt to make it to the ACC championship game this year?
No.
Would they if there was a good team? Like Clemson made it like 10 years and. No, my point is I expect us to be good, and that would stop that from happening. That happens in the Coastal. This is the first time it happened in the Atlantic for a long time because Clemson was actually good. Like now, if there ends up being another good team, like if it, I can't imagine this happening. Let's say Virginia Tech's really good and we lose at Virginia Tech and they win the Coastal. I'm okay with that. But if it's the version of the Coastal we've been looking at,
got that by Cristobal now. He always at Oregon did lose that 1 or 2 games. Where
he also, by the way, but he also won the Pac-12 2 out of the 3 years that he was there.
and he made the championship game 2 years in a row.
And
I mean, listen.
He also had a generational quarterback that he didn't win a title.
No, he won the Rose Bowl, won the Pac-12, and finished 5th.
Yeah,
like it's not like he went 7-5 with that.
Right.
But I'm saying for you guys are saying, but are we okay with that? That's what you guys are saying. This is where we're at right now. Where we're just comfortable.
I mean, as opposed to what? As opposed to what?
Miami was just in the ACC title game not too long ago.
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
It's happened one time.
Yeah, one time.
They've been in one title game since 2004.
And again, I think it's the nature of the ACC Coastal. Like, if it continues to be this mediocrity, yeah, I expect us to win it.
Yeah.
If there's another team we're competing with,
Is
like
that
I mentioned Virginia Tech because they're probably the only one with the ceiling to consistently put top teams out there. If they somehow get it back to where Beamer had it, sure, we're not going to win it every year because they can compete with us.
Can I
But,
just
like,
say this?
you're
Like,
sitting here losing to Pitt and like Pitt's winning it, and you're losing to UVA in North Carolina. Those are basketball schools, man. What are we doing?
I
It's been good over the last 3-4 years.
They went 6-6 this year and we lost to them. So did Virginia. Like that's why we're not winning the division.
I
Because we
can't-
actually beat Pitt.
I can't deal with these expectation conversations like 10 months
It's
before.
because you put expectations and it doesn't happen.
No, but like I always say, like, let me see a freaking game or a practice or something. Like right now we're talking about stuff. We don't even know who the coordinators are yet. Let's get some people in here. You know what I want? You know what like my expectation is that for once we just look like a good team. Like just like we look like a solid team that is not going to commit ridiculous penalties and missed tackles. And
I say 2024
Amen.
where Miami is in prime position to make that surge to dominance, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't dispute that. I just don't think you need to be dominant to win the Coastal.
Good job, Chuck. But he also outplayed a guy that's going to New York this weekend. So talk to me
Who
about
y'all
that
played?
in those 7 games.
Who y'all played?
Pickett.
Don't nod your head because he definitely did outplay.
They did
him
on
in
the
that
field.
game.
Pickett blew that game.
That's
Those 2
100
picks.
That's not
only
even a
reason Manny
conversation.
was sticking around.
By the way, hold on a second. Time out. Hold on. We're not having that conversation because that's not a conversation.
Not derail us.
Let's move on.
All right, let's just all agree we
Let's
need to
move
blow
on.
out
We're not
Texas
even having
A&M
that
next year,
conversation
and
yet.
let's do that.
This is a Mario Cristobal thing anyway.
We open the season with Texas A&M next year.
Well, first Southern Miss at home, and then at Jimbo Fisher.
So that should be fun.
Talking about a 1-1 stop.
Yo, that's a tough place to play. I've been there. That place moves.
But the last time we were there,
Yeah, I actually was
And
nowhere there.
I was there the last time we were there. It's when the big news was that Alonzo Highsmith's kid AJ was in the locker room and was coming to Miami. That was the big news the last time we were in.
This is what I want to end this conversation with the show with also is the whole Zoe thing, right? Because we haven't really heard much about Zoe anymore.
Not happening.
So what? So is that it? That's out of the question, right? It's Dan Radakovich, or if something else happens, something crazy happens. It's not Radakovich. I think it is, but so basically,
well, no. I mean, I as far as I know, I think the Zoe thing was more likely to happen under a situation where there was a less
like Eddie Nunez.
Like if an Eddie Nunez came in as the athletic director,
right?
And was at a school coming from a school like New Mexico that wasn't a powerhouse in football, that maybe Zoe would be a guy to be in the middle. But and Eddie Nunez, as it turns out, wasn't down with that whole situation. It was one of the reasons why he backed out. But I think because Radakovich is, obviously one of the top 80s in the country and is very familiar with Power 5 football and how it's supposed to look and work. I think that's why the Zoe thing is out. Also, as much as Zoe loves his alma mater, he has opportunities in the NFL. So I think he would come back to Miami and do it, but that's not his only opportunity to have a career. So, and I think also because Miami's pumping in all that money for analysts and all these other positions, you're going to see a bunch of football people that should have been hired. Like I said, all these former players that have coached before at all levels are, running into my DM saying I would do anything to work back in my alma mater in any position. I don't care. I've already made money in the NFL or X, Y, and Z. I think Mario is going to be surrounded with plenty of guys that know this game of football that he doesn't need as though.
The thing, and that's why Saban is so good, because Saban, as good as he is, he has no quips at all about saying, I'm as good as my assistants. Like, my assistants are great. And Mario knows that, and he's not stupid. But, I mean, but
also look at how Saban has used the analyst role, right? Everybody that's gone and been an analyst in Alabama.
Everybody go to coaching rehab down there.
Yeah, he resurrects careers out of those analysts. That's what he does.
I think Manny Diaz, I wouldn't be shocked if he goes down to coaching.
Yeah, hey, listen, it worked for Mario. It might as well work for Manny.
Well, we'll see about that. This was fun, guys. We had a great time. I loved it. I appreciate you guys coming on the show. Real quick before we let everybody go, Beast, where can they find you?
It's not up there, but it's at Miami Radio Beast on Twitter. And also I haven't posted because I've been so busy, but my YouTube channel, Brian the Beast London, you can just Google that. And then I've been doing these Twitter spaces, so just follow me on Twitter, put me on notifications, and when I pop on to do a little show, you'll get notified.
There you go.
Everyone knows Beast, man. Beast is a legend.
I don't know what I am. I'm something. Don't ask my wife about me. She wouldn't tell you I'm a legend. That's for sure. Oh, wait 1 second. Mike, I got to correct you because you said something that was factually not right. Larry Coker did not fire those assistants. That was Pete Garcia that fired those assistants. And then Larry Coker was forced to coach with a bunch of coaches that didn't deserve to even be coaching my son's Optimist team.
I'm looking at him because he was a head coach, but I didn't know that.
Garcia, Larry Coker did not fire those people. He wanted nothing. He did not want to fire those people. He was made. His name was put on it, but Pete Garcia got rid of those guys.
Damn it, Pete.
Yep, exactly.
Damn it, Pete. Jock, where can they find you, man?
King Jock 24.
King Jock 20. I'm assuming that's on Twitter.
That's on every social media app that has to do with Jakari Gibbons. That is my name.
He's trying to give everybody his.
And Jock's obviously also a 5 Reasons contributor, so you'll see him on our normal show when he decides to show up.
Yeah, they had to put me in the late slot, man.
We got you on with Beast and Mike, man. This is real estate.
What are you trying to say, huh? What are you trying to say?
I told them early on, and then they had to get all the right guys, and then they fired me, man.
You did not fire you. You are right here, man. We did not Manny Diaz you. We Mike Rumphed you. No, I'm just messing.
Oh, wow.
No. Jock knows we got nothing but love for him, man. Jock's one of our guys.
Manny just demotes people. He don't fire people. I just moved into a different role, man.
No, at all. Jock will hopefully go and join us on our Wednesday show. Like, he's one of our regulars. He's one of our guys. So.
Mike, let him know.
UM_Radio Mike. I'm writing for State of the U right now. I'll be back on. Again, I like to say this all the time. I respect all you podcasters, all you YouTubers that do it, because I'm too lazy to do it. I'd rather get behind a mic, have a producer walk into the studio, and get on the airwaves. You guys, all of this, I respect it because it's just too much work for me. I'd rather have everything go and like that. But looking back on the airwaves in a little bit, but for now, I'm just pumping out content. I love to write for stateoftheu.com. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome, man. We appreciate you. And Vish, obviously.
We're here. I'm writing a bunch of crap this week on 5 Reasons, so
yeah,
check out that.
Be on the lookout for that. Everything on 5 Reasons Sports.
Anything UM related about why Manny should have been fired so long ago, Vish has already the article written already.
it's coming as well as some stuff on Mario and all that stuff. So I got a lot of stuff in the can.
We wrote this article back in when I asked for him to get fired at the beginning of the year. So I had said that on the Dono show. I've been trying to get Manny fired.
That one thing I will say that I can hang my hat on is that Jock said he's not going to last as defensive coordinator. He's getting fired for sure. This is his last year. He did say that. He did say that at the beginning of the season. So,
and before we wrap, real quick shout out to Manny Chang behind the scenes, been producing for the last almost 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, he volunteered. Normally, like, we do a very unprofessional job, which is me just adding people to the stream. But Manny stepped up and decided, we had so many people coming in and out, ran the show. Otherwise, it would have been a complete disaster. So thanks, Manny.
Yes, thank you.
And one more thing. If you let me, Jazz.
Yeah, of course, man.
Guys, don't let anybody tell you that the Coastal isn't the bar, okay? I'll drop the mic with that. The Coastal is the floor, God damn it.
Yeah, it is. Oh, and by the way, thank you to Everything Trade Shows as well for being for sponsoring tonight's show as well. So make sure you check them out, everythingtradeshows.com.
I'll give you this, Mike. After we see who the coordinators are, then we can go that route.
All right. Can I?
Fair.
Can I try to finish my plug here?
Yeah,
on
we actually got a sponsor, man. We actually got a sponsor, John. Let him read it.
Thanks, man. Everythingtradeshows.com. Again, everythingtradeshows.com. Their phone number 954-791-8882. Mention 5 reasons and you'll get a free booth rendering as well. So if you're a business owner, you definitely want to check them out if you guys do a lot of conferences and all that stuff. Again, thank you to everybody for showing up. We appreciate it. A Black, Max, Larry Bluestein, Alex Dono, Flo, John Michaels. Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody? No, Mike McCoy, Jakari Givens, Brian the Beast London. All you guys are true gentlemen and great friends. I consider you guys great friends. So thank you so much for joining us here. And we'll be back on Wednesday. Antoine Staley and Toast is actually going to be on from the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Yeah. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Go Canes.
Go Canes.